What's up, my dudes, and back with another video. Ignore the howling wind outside. That's why I have my music turned up almost all the way, so you guys can ignore the wind. I mean, but the topic of the video is going to be Reclusa's. Is going to be one of my favorite fights in the entire of all time, basically. Reclusa from the Mario and Luigi series, mainly Mario and Luigi Brothership, as I wanted to do an attack video of his where I go over every single attack that he can do and stuff, because he has some of the hardest attacks, in my opinion, in the entire series, personally. Now his first phase is more of a chase sequence, minigame, / boss fight. And he has two types of attacks in this phase. He can either shoot fireballs that can burn you, or he can shoot ice, an ice attack that can freeze you as well, basically. Now, of course, those are his only attacks in this first phase. And the second phase is Weeping Reclusa, where he goes into the Solai tree, and then you fight Weeping Reclusa, and then you fight his Doom Blooms at the bottom of the tree. Now, his Doom Blooms, first of all, his Doom Blooms. The Doom Blooms, Jesus Christ, dude, it's freaking windy. If you can hear that crap outside, guys, that is ridiculous. And it's even worse for me, because our window is broken. So, yeah. If you're wondering, I have the window, or I have the song up so loud, that is why. Back to the topic at hand. The Doom Blooms. The Doom Blooms have two types of attacks where they can either go at you and charge at you, and they can charge at you, and they can either go up or down, and you have to jump over their attacks, or they trick you and you have to either do the opposite, either jump or don't jump. Another attack that they can do is use fire and ice balls against you, and the ice balls go at different speeds, the fireballs go at different speeds. And they can even use a giant fireball or a giant ice ball to trick you as well. But that is their attacks. Weeping Reclusa has a bunch of attacks, actually. He has a bunch of them. He has this one where he can go into the fog, where he can summon ice balls at you, or ice crystals at you, and you have to memorize them to whichever bro, to the way he summons them, as the way he summons them will be the attack pattern, or just not be an idiot like me, and just spam both of your bros' hammers. That's what I always do, because I suck at memory games, if you have not noticed, on some of my, videos. I suck at memory games, and that is the main reason why I can't use certain attacks in the Mario and Luigi series, mainly Spin Pipe from Bowser's Inside Story. I can't use that attack and stuff, but and then Weeping Reclusa, after you dodge all of those attacks, he shoots this gigantic fireball at you, where you have to mash the button to actually attack and actually counter Weeping Reclusa. Basically, there's another attack where he can shoot this gigantic meteor towards you, and you have to use both of your bros to actually dodge it. And his most dangerous attack is one where he shoots his gigantic arms at you, and you have to dodge at the precise time of literally right as the arms are about to hit you. Otherwise, you were going to either get caught by the arms or take a lot of damage, basically. And if you get caught by the arms, you get damaged by, like, a bunch of damage. Unless you have the other bro to counter it. To counter the damage, basically. And the next phase is going up Weeping Reclusa, where he shoots fire and ice balls towards you, and then he has his, like, appendages or roots to try to stop you to getting up to Weeping Reclusa himself. And then when you get close enough, he'll shoot this gigantic energy ball at you as well. And eventually going inside Weeping Reclusa, because he's mainly the core, he's mainly a shell similar to Dark Bowser from Inside Story. As you can't really damage him, but you still can fight. You still fight Weeping Reclusa, you just can't really damage him. It's still a boss fight though. Eventually going into Weeping Reclusa, the fourth phase begins against the Weeping Core, and the Weeping Core has some crazy attacks of its own. One of them, he can go into the foreground and charge towards the bros, and actually send the bros' hammers, send the bros' hammers flying to where you have to actually get one of to where the other bro has to go into the foreground and actually get the other bro's hammer. And then eventually he'll go flying into the foreground, and you have to mash the button to counter one final time. His other attack is one where he'll shoot his gigantic spike strips at you, and you have to counter in this gigantic circle attack. And he has different speeds for those spike strips. He can either go fast or slow. And the slow ones for me are way harder than the faster ones, which personally just goes to show that I'm a mixed person on attacks. I think both faster attacks and both slower attacks are harder. It just depends on the attack, basically. Eventually breaking Weeping Reclusa, eventually breaking Reclusa out of the core. The real final fight actually begins with plenty of deceitful tech-based attacks. Reclusa is a strong foe. He literally has, some of his attacks are some of the hardest to dodge in the series, especially in this semi-final phase. He can literally, one of his attacks, he can actually go and actually create clones of himself, to where you have to pay attention to the monitors on screen and see which ones have a Mario symbol and which ones have a Luigi symbol. And if they don't have any symbols at all, sorry guys, if they don't have any symbols at all, he doesn't attack you at all, basically. They're basically a miss attack. And one of his most dangerous attacks, his status ailment attack. This attack is one of the hardest to dodge in the series because he literally, if you know from the previous games, if you've ever had a downed bro, during an attack, the other bro will actually go and actually carry the other bro to protect him, and he'll have a delay to his jump or hammer. And this is what makes this attack so dangerous, because he forces that status ailment on you for the entire attack, basically. So first of all, his attacks for this attack, he can either Reclusa can either go into the he can either use his arms to either shoot he can either shoot sorry, my train of thought is elsewhere right now. But he can either shoot fire at you or shoot ice at you, and those can actually create 2 more status ailments on you. You can either get burned or you can get frozen. And his other part of his attack is where he shoots these slow circle projectiles at you, and then he'll shoot this energy ball at you as well. And mind you, you're still status ailmented for this attack, basically. And for the entire attack. For each attack, you still have the status ailment on you. And now is when you get him into Fury Mode. Fury Mode is when he has his most dangerous attacks. One of his attacks, he actually goes all Psycho Mode and actually shows both of the bros on the monitor really in quick succession, and then he goes up to the top, not into the foreground, but he goes up in the air, and then he uses his arms to create these like shock waves, and these shock waves are really precisely timed. If you don't time it right at the precise moment when his arms actually create the attack, you're going to get damaged. It does not matter if you jump even a precisely millisecond earlier, you are going to get hit. You have to time it precisely to when his arm actually creates the attack, which was what makes this attack the second most hardest to dodge in the series, basically, because it's so precisely timed. And his most dangerous attack, one of the hardest to dodge in the entire franchise, his status ailmented attack when he's in Fury Mode. This attack is where he goes absolutely ballistically insane, and then his attacks get a lot more dangerous. Basically, he uses the status ailment on you again, and he does the same attacks as before, and his arm attack his arm attack is a lot faster. But that is not the dangerous part. The dangerous part of this attack is when he goes into the foreground and shoots this gigantic Kamile type fire death ball towards you. And you're still status ailmented towards during this attack. And this attack can easily one-shot you if you were not careful. I am not kidding, guys. I've gotten dealt over 500 damage from this attack, which is over 300 more HP than I actually have. And if you know that much, damage, that is as much damage as Bowser X can do against you with the challenge medal. And which is why this boss is one of the hardest in the series, as even with gear, he can literally deal almost as much damage as Bowser X with the challenge medal on, which is just insane. And I'm running out of time, guys, so I will have to go really quick over these other variations of that death ball attack. The other death ball move is he can use and he can either shrink it or he can turn it invisible, basically. And you're still status ailmented during the entire attack, guys. It goes to show that this is one of the hardest attacks in the entire franchise, guys. It just is insane. But I hope you enjoyed all of Reclusa's attacks, and I hope you, and I'm sure you can understand why this boss fight is so hard, because some of his attacks are either so overpowered, or require such precise timing that they're really, really hard to dodge. They're some of the hardest to dodge in the series, in my opinion. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed, and I'm running out of time, so I hope you enjoyed, and until next time, guys, peace.